Attorney Jonathan Elson, reminding you that if you've been injured in an auto accident, it's important to have somebody on your side. When you need a lawyer,
then you need Nelson.
Just before 3 o'clock yesterday afternoon, we were dispatched a report of a structure fire. While crews were responding, we were notified that one of the occupants had re-entered the burning structure to retrieve pets and was not viewed coming back out. So even long before we were at the fire, we were actually formulating a rescue objective plan, and we were prepared to actually go into the structure and rescue anyone that might be in there. Upon arrival, we found fire through the roof. It was a mansard-style roof, which is a different type of configuration out here. It actually hangs off to the sides on all four corners. And it was a tiled roof, so as we arrived on location, we had a quick view of the structure. It appeared to have had multiple additions over the years, and again, with the fire, it was heavy fire through the roof, extending throughout the attic space. So as I did my size up, I noted there was an overabundance of personal property both inside and outside the residence. It added to our challenges in getting back because it was a setback that was extensive from the primary road. It was a long, narrow driveway and a perimeter fence, so we could only get one piece of apparatus down. The crews laid a supply line from the street to the engine and then commenced the defensive exterior attack, which means that no firefighters were going into the structure or onto the roof surface. Well, as I arrived on location, I was able to locate the residents, and they confirmed that everybody was out and that there were no injuries. So the life safety portion was eliminated from the equation. However, in the early stages when we were doing the size up, one of our captains, Captain Moody, was struck in the head by some of the falling material coming from the roof surface. And in this particular case, it was a chunk of stucco. So once that occurred, we already completed the size up. We then completed what's called a collapse zone, maintained everybody well outside the confines of the immediate structure and also outside the perimeter of the material that was stored around it.
How's Lieutenant Moody at this point?
He's doing good. He didn't require to be transported to a hospital. His helmet is interesting because it clearly shows where the material had struck the side, pushed his head in the opposite direction. So he has a strain and sprain, but he has no loss of time from work.
So this burnt for quite a while. There's a large amount of personal property there, as well as vehicles?
There were vehicles, there was personal property of all different types surrounding the immediate building and actually stacked up against it. There was an RV, there was accessory outbuildings to the rear and to the side. Those exposures were all protected. Our biggest challenge was that the fire occurred in a non-hydrated area. We had to bring additional water resources in to assist us because we were flowing between 1,000 and 1,500 gallons per minute at the height of the fire.
Do you know how it started at this point?
We're investigating. We think at this point that it's going to be an accidental nature. Most likely it's going to be undetermined. But the owner had described that he was experiencing water leaks from the recent rains that were going directly into the area of the electrical and that portion of the house, which then started on fire.
Fire crews worked all throughout the night, right?
They did. As I mentioned earlier, that the fire began just before 3 p.m. and the crews returned to station today around 9:30 this morning.